Good evening, I'm Ed Lingao sitting in for Ces Oreña-Drilon.
I'm Pauline Verzosa.
And I'm Shawn Yao.
The big stories tonight. Dismissed Bamban Mayor Alice Go and 7 others are looking at a virtual life in prison following their guilty verdict for qualified human trafficking.
And congressmen who are also contractors could end up in prison as the Office of the Ombudsman investigates their involvement in state-funded projects.
Speaking of Congress, is another leadership shakeup in the offing over at the House of Representatives. We speak to a House insider later on.
It is not just a victory for the government, but a victory for the victims.
Ako po ay isang Pilipino. Lumaki po ako sa farm.
And to all who enabled Alice Go's criminal empire, the Philippines is not a playground for exploitation, infiltration, and espionage.
Authorities are calling the conviction of Alice Go and company for a victory for the Philippines in the fight against the Pogos. Go and others were sentenced to a minimum of 20 years in prison for a massive trafficking scheme involving offshore gaming and online scamming. Now they are off to Bilibid. Mobile journalist Alex de los Santos with tonight's big story.
More than a year of congressional hearings on offshore gaming operations and a manhunt that took authorities to Indonesia. Who could forget this face and name? Alice Go, or Go Haping, an entrepreneur who became mayor of Bamban, Taal Lake in 2022 until her expulsion from government service.
Ako po ay isang Pilipino. At lalo na po hindi pa ako Spanish. Wala na po talaga malala. Although ayaw ko po talaga ma-mention yung word na wala po ako malala. Pero wala po talaga
I'm not
ako malala.
asking about...
Your Honor, lumaki po ako sa farm.
Fast forward to November 20 of 2025, the Pasig City Regional Trial Court decided on the qualified human trafficking case filed against Go and 7 others, Rachel Carrion, Jemelyn Cruz, Walter Wong Rong, Wang Wei Li, Wu Li Dong, Lang Shu Pong, and Nong Ding Chang. The verdict: guilty, with a sentence of virtual lifetime term or reclusion perpetua or 20 to 40 years in jail. Each will also have to pay 2 million pesos in fines. When Go and company are done serving their sentence at the New Bilibid prison, they will be deported. According to the Pasig RTC, there was solid evidence that the group had organized and funded Baofu Land Development Incorporated, which owned the compound in Bamban. This Pogo and online scam hub was raided in 2024. And despite Go's repeated denial of being a Baofu shareholder, the court said there's undeniable proof of her connection to the company. Proof such as Alice's car parked in the area where the raid took place, as well as electric bills and Go's villas in the compound. For the prosecution and the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission, this is a momentous victory.
Ang kaso is qualified human trafficking, so confidential po lahat ng detalye sa trafficking. Except, alam niyo naman po kung sino ang mga akusado na hinihintay natin ng conviction. So finally, after more than 1 year, napakabilis po ng korte, binigay sa atin yung favorable decision. First time tayong nag-file ng organizing human trafficking under Section 4L of the Anti-Human Trafficking Law. So first time din na nag-convict ang court ng organizing.
It is something symbolic para sa bansa to. What we thought before as parang imposible, ngayon napatunayan natin that sa pagkakaisa ng bawat ahensya, pagtutulungan, and with all the dedication and sincerity, nothing is impossible. Ang masasabi ko lang with this victory, it is not just a victory for the government, but a victory for the victims, for the community, and pati na rin sa ibang bansa.
The Baofu compound, worth an estimated 6 billion pesos, will be ceded to the government. The National Treasury will serve as caretaker, and a technical working committee will later on recommend to President Marcos how the property will be utilized. Already, PAOK is looking into some possibilities.
Bear in mind, this is a 10-hectare compound right in the middle of Tarlac. And meron pong mga malalapit na mga kampo ng mga militar dyan. So I would imagine, pwede pong gamitin ito bilang karagdagang kampo militar ng ating bansa.
Senator Risa Ontiveros, who first sounded the alarm on Alice Go and illegal pogo operations, was delighted at how their probes ended.
This Senate investigation delivered unprecedented results. It helped secure a presidential executive order banning pogos, provided evidence towards a guilty verdict, sending a criminal to prison for life, and to all others who enabled Alice Go's criminal empire. The Philippines is not a playground for exploitation, infiltration, and espionage.
For Senator Win Gatchalian, the conviction of Alice Go and her cohorts is not just for Filipinos, but for foreign nationals who fell victim to pogo crimes. For his part, Senator Bam Aquino hopes the court's swift decision on Go's case would also transcend to other cases.
Handa na mabilis yung hustisya at inaasahan natin na hindi na gagaya yung ibang mga sindikato kung ganito kabilis yung hustisya pagdating dito sa issue ng mga pogo. Sana lang kung gaano kabilis ito, ganun din kabilis ma-resolve yung mga issues natin pagdating sa flood control.
Kapatid Arles de los Santos, we are One News.
Now in other news, the Bureau of Customs has auctioned off 7 luxury cars seized from contractor couples Sara and Curly Descaya. However, only 3 vehicles were sold today. 2 Mercedes SUVs were bought by one bidder, while the other vehicle sold was a Lincoln Navigator. Speaking to the media, the winning bidder of the Lincoln said he bought it for its historical value. The 3 vehicles fetched a total of 38.21 million pesos, with the Mercedes G500 selling almost double its floor price, and the bids were paid in cash. The 7 cars were supposed to generate about 103.87 million pesos for remittance to the National Treasury. The 4 vehicles that were not sold today, including the Rolls-Royce with the now infamous umbrella, will be auctioned off again. That's together with 6 more luxury vehicles in BOC custody. These are expected to fetch an additional 120 million pesos for the government.
Ang proceeds po na ito ay mapupunta sa forfeiture fund pero hindi po ito gagamitin ng diretso ng BOC. Ito po ay iririmit po sa National Treasury. So, gagamitin po ito para sa taong bayan. Makakasiguro po tayo sa pamamahala ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. na mga pondong ito ay dapat magamit sa tama.
Mas importante dito sa pera o pondo na maaari natin makuha ay ang simbolismo at ang pagpapahalaga natin na pag ikaw ay gumawa ng mali, ikaw ay mananagot at ang pera ng bansa dapat ay pakinabangan ng ating mga kababayan.
Meanwhile, Ombudsman Boying Remulla today revealed that Leyte Congressman Martin Romualdez reached out to him over the flood control scandal. Remulla said he talked to the former House Speaker, Romualdez, out of respect as a fraternity brother and former colleague at the lower chamber. And the Ombudsman clarified that this is the only time he spoke to Romualdez since the flood control scam probe started.
Romualdez's once very close ally Zaldy Co now faces graft and malversation cases at the Sandigan Bayan with a possible arrest warrant and the cancellation of his passport. What is next for the resigned congressman? And joining us tonight is his legal counsel, Rui Rondain. Magandang gabi po, Attorney Rondain, and welcome to The Big Story.
Magandang gabi, ladies. Thank you.
Attorney, I think we're getting a bit of an echo here, but I hope you can hear us very well. Charges have been filed, and there's a possibility, very, very big possibility of a warrant of arrest and possibly a petition for extradition. If it comes to that po, is your client going to come home? Mahirap din po kasi yung hindi umuwi.
We'll fight it first. Labanan muna namin. Available the remedies available under the law. So, and then we'll see where we go from there.
Mm-hmm. But is he going to? Kasi po when you say we're going to fight it, of course we do understand that is his right. But are you prepared for an extended legal battle? And sometimes these things really last a long time if it goes all the way up to Supreme Court.
Sure. Ready. That's one of the facets of the problem. Kasi kung magiging extended yan, and as you know, they filed one non-bailable case, no? Mm-hmm. And while we're hearing a petition for bail, which we will surely file, no? In the meantime, naka-detain siya. So that's one of the objections why we have to fight it. Because ang feeling talaga namin, ako personally, is talagang walang kaso.
Okay, but nevertheless, Attorney Rui, no, before, kasi when you would give interviews, wala pang mga kaso, but ngayon, iba na ang kaso. No? Meron ng kaso, and they're talking about the cancellation of the passport.
Sure.
Is there any way for your camp to fight that, or are you resigned that this is going to happen?
We're definitely fighting that, Shawn. So of course, we expect the best and prepare for the worst. That's all I can say at this time.
So if they do cancel his passport, is your client prepared to just come back? Kasi kung hindi, iikot to dun sa whole Interpol route and so on and so forth.
We'll wait for things to unfold,
Okay.
Shawn.
Well, as Shawn mentioned, attorney, there are now cases, and you have the ombudsman focusing on malversation and graft instead of plunder. Sinabi ni ombudsman, that would be easier for them to prove because plunder has a lot of jurisprudence. As early as now, attorney, are you already preparing your defense? What remedies are you looking at right now?
Oh, absolutely. I can't tell you about what we're going to do because I don't want to telegraph my punches, but we have solid moves to resist this, yung malversation. I can't tell you anymore. I can't discuss the case, in fact, because I'd be condemned and be penalized by the court for discussing a case that's pending.
Yes, sir. Well, we do understand, sir. You do not want to telegraph your moves, but we're also wondering if you're willing or open to telling us where your client is at this point in time.
I still don't know, Ed. That's the honest truth. I still don't know. I haven't asked him. I still don't know. I couldn't answer you.
Pero nakapag-usap naman po kayo over the phone.
Yeah. I talk to him regularly naman.
Okay, can we ask when the last time was?
Yes, sir. And has he been apprised of the charges that were filed?
Yes. Alam niya. The last time, I didn't speak with him, but nag-text kami last night.
Was it about the cases, attorney?
Yes, of course. Of course. And some other things.
And when it comes to this malversation case, attorney, does your client still maintain that he didn't benefit from any of the kickbacks, from insertions, SOPs, and that he was merely a conduit? Because in an interview with DJ Chacha and Ted Filon, you did mention that the only fault you see in your client, if any, is that he lacked the will to resist yung mga utos sa kanya.
That's correct. That's correct. In fact, well, okay, I'm going to go out on a limb a little bit, no? Yung final nila, I haven't seen it, but from what I gather, yung final nila is he benefited from yung contract ng SunWest. I'm going to say again that he's not part of SunWest, and under the law, you cannot be held criminally liable for being a member or a director of a corporation unless you acted directly, unless you did something in pursuance of the crime. He hasn't done anything. They indicted him simply because he was once a stockholder, and therefore, ang reasoning nila is he was once a stockholder, and therefore he's still a beneficiary.
Sir, follow-up ko lang yung question ni Pawi. We did watch, of course, the video statements given by or released by Zaldy Co. And yun nga, he did come clean in a way, but there are those who are also saying that he's coming in too clean. Parang lahat may kasalanan ng pera ko. Of course, you have the presumption of innocence there. But on the other hand, there are also people who are familiar with the mechanisms in Congress who are saying na that's not highly likely to be the case, especially if you're talking about big amounts of money being moved around by people. Halos imposible daw po na walang pakinabang is the word for it.
Oo, naintindihan ko yan, Ed, but I don't live in that world of possibilities and suppositions. I live in the world where that's governed by the rules of evidence. So again, people are getting tired of hearing me say this, but if you have an accusation, you have to be able to prove it with competent evidence. Hindi pwedeng imposible naman na wala siyang kinita dahil chairman siya na appropriations. I don't think and I won't engage an issue in that realm.
Yes, sir.
Kung meron accusation na kumita siya dito sa specific transaction na to, then fine. We will discuss it. Show me your evidence and I will defend.
In that same
Hindi
vein,
pwede.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Right.
In that same vein, do you think Zaldy Co has in his possession enough evidence against these people that he is accusing? Like, were you guys able to talk about it or text about it in one of your conversations?
more than that, I've seen the evidence, Sean. So yes, the answer to your question is yes. He has enough. More
Against
than
how many people? A lot? And is it solid in your opinion as a lawyer?
Yes, absolutely. I've seen a lot. I don't know if he's shown me everything. And besides the people he has already named in the 3 videos that he has released, I'm thinking there are a couple more. But I've said this also. Now I let my witnesses tell their story. I don't want to preempt him. Certainly, let's let him tell his story. Anyway, sinabi niya naman that there's another video forthcoming. Diba? Sabi niya, marami pa akong sasabihin.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, one more, sir. I'm sure you've already heard of the statements given by Yusek Bernardo, or former Yusek Bernardo, to Ping Lacson, where, among other things, they seem to confirm or affirm what Zaldy Co said na merong ang insertions at merong nagpalitan ng pera.
Yes.
But the apparent conflict there, as far as the narratives are concerned, is as far as Ping and Bernardo are concerned, or apparently concerned, hanggang dun lamang sa level ni Olaybar at sa level ni Bersamin, well, the younger Bersamin.
Okay.
At hindi daw, at least according to Ping Lacson, mukhang hindi daw umaabot sa Pangulo. Your response to that, sir?
I think na-confuse sila because I reviewed when that broke out a few days ago, nung sinabi ni Senator Lacson, na-confuse sila because what Zaldy said was that after the 2025 budget was approved, tinawagan niya yung mga DPWH people, tinanong niya, ano ba yung normal na dito na SOP? And he was told 25%. So kung 100 billion yung
That's 25 billion.
insertion, he assumed na 25 billion yung napunta na SOP. He never said na dineliver niya yung 25 billion. Ang sinabi niyang dineliver yung other yung proceeds from other projects na yun na nga na point out nga na yung mga photos ng deliveries mayroon pa nga as early as 2024. Yun, not pertaining to the 100 billion.
But aside from
Now,
the photos, Attorney, does your
Go ahead.
client hold other evidence to prove itong na nakinabang nga si President Bongbong Marcos? I know he already provided a list of the projects, but are there ledgers, receipts, conversations to prove that?
Yes, there are. There are receipts at a minimum.
So you mean Congressman Zaldy Co was keeping track of all these transactions while they were happening?
It appears to me because my receipts show. I've seen the receipts. I just don't want to preempt him. So let's wait for him to disclose that when he deems it proper.
Sir, ano po sir, ibig sabihin ng receipts?
Vouchers,
Hindi po BIR receipts, pero
Screenshots.
Delivered 1 peso to Rui Rondain, signed by Rui Rondain.
So may mga acknowledge po, 'di ba? Usual 'yun sa mga voucher even if they're informal, 'di ba? Received by ganito. Kahit yung houseboy yung nag-receive or household staff, may mga ganun po.
Yeah, hindi ko lang alam kung mga technical terms sa accounting, but yes, I guess that's what you call the vouchers.
Okay. And when it comes to yung mga tinatawag nating receipts, no, in the modern age, screenshots, etc., meron din of that kind.
Ang nakita ko, photo ng actual receipt. So I assume that he has the actual paper na resibo mismo.
And in these receipts, Attorney, who acknowledged them or who received them?
Let's wait for him to disclose that. Basta damning evidence.
Okay.
There's also been criticism against his videos, no probative value. I'm sure you've heard all of it and you know better, Attorney Rui, no? But what do you think? Do you think that they have no probative value? Kasi nagpakita lang siya ng mga litrato, he said what he wanted. And would you know if dahil ba na-inchame yung kanyang appearance doon sa Blue Ribbon Committee hearing last Friday, which is why he released the videos, according to some people?
No. Walang connection yung release niya sa inability niya to attend the Blue Ribbon Committee. Na-embarrass nga ako ng konti. I said this in another show. Na-embarrass ako ng konti because I wrote the Blue Ribbon Committee on Thursday morning. I told them that, sorry, he can't attend because he's still overseas for his medicals. And then all of a sudden, lumabas to. So, you know, they might think na bad faith ako na tiniming ko, no? But hindi, walang connection. I was just as surprised as everyone else when that came out. I had no prior knowledge. Now, sorry, I forgot the second part of the question, Sean.
That's okay, sir.
Value. I normally write compound questions down.
Sige. I'll do the second
Value.
question. I'll rephrase the second.
No, I remember it now.
Okay,
I remember it now. Sabi mo, does it have any value? In a court of law, no. Because hindi under oath and walang opportunity to cross-examine. But it does have value in the sense that as far as he's concerned, na relieved ng konti siya because nasabi na niya yung gusto niya sabihin, or at least part of it. Remember, from the first video, sabi niya, marami pa akong sasabihin, hindi ko lang masabi lahat ngayon, and sana hindi nila ako mapatay bago ko makompleto. So to that extent, may value. No? Meron siyang, like I said, catharsis.
And these videos, Attorney Rui, they are not coursed through you, meaning hindi po ikaw yung sinasabihan niya na, attorney, paki-upload na ito. It's all him, wherever he is, he's doing it on his own.
Yeah, I don't know how to upload. And I found out just a few seconds before you guys. I got a text, uploading now, please check. Sabi ko, huh? And then chinek.
Oh, there's a new video today. Okay, sir, we will check on that. Sir, balikan ko lang, sir, yung resibo. I'm wondering lang, sir, kung anong nature ng mga resibong ito. Kasi it might seem, I mean, speaking from a layman's point of view, it might seem counterintuitive for anybody who's dealing with huge amounts of illegal money to sign off a receipt and say na, I received this much from you. Diba? Then again, this is a layman's point of view. Wouldn't it be more practical for a person to just make a call and say, nakuha mo na ba o hindi? Kaysa sa sign off?
I know. I was just as shocked as you are na mayroong resibo. Because the evidence is not, it's not rocket science. It has to comport. It has to be consistent with the experience of humankind. And tama ka. If you're committing a crime, why would you create a paper trail for yourself? Diba? Something that's traceable back to you. Nagulat din ako at may mga resibo. But here we are.
Not unless you declare mo sa BIR.
Tsaka may TIN number.
Wala pa ako dyan.
But attorney,
I don't think so.
What does Congressman Zaldy Co plan to do with all these evidence? Because it's separate from the malversation case he is facing now in relation to the projects in Oriental Mindoro. So does he plan to give this to the government? Will he apply as a state witness? Does he believe he's not the most guilty here?
Eventually, Pauline, that's where we're going. As to what we're going to do, eventually bibigay yan sa gobyerno. No? One way or another, it will find its way to the hands of the government. When and how, I can't tell you. Because again, that's telegraphing my punches.
What would make Zaldy Co come back here to the Philippines? What kind of environment or may conditions ba siyang sinet on his own na parang, okay, pag nagyari ito, uuwi na ako? May ganun ba siyang nabanggit sa inyo, attorney?
Ang gusto lang niya yung ma-assure yung safety niya eh. And there are several facets to that. Number one, sinabi ko personally, takot ako sa vigilante violence. Ang feeling niya, since non-bailable ito, papatayin siya sa loob as soon as he's detained. And there's no discounting government agents doing it, within or without. So if those are addressed, then he's fine.
Will you be negotiating bail, attorney? I mean, is that possible para umuwi si Congressman Zaldy Co?
Negotiating with?
Bail.
Yeah, but that's not in the hands of the executive anymore. That's in the hands of the courts. Kasi na-file ng cases. Pag na-file ng case, everyone loses control, except the court, except the justices. I would love for them to grant bail because in the first place, I don't think the cases should have been filed. One lang naman yung non-bailable na nakita ko. So if they say that if the ombudsman will not oppose bail, I'll tell him to hop on the next plane back.
I think even the ombudsman himself said, and publicly too, that he has assured the safety of Zaldy Co should he come home. So, I mean, we will keep him safe. You guys don't buy that?
No. Even if he's sincere, I assume that he's sincere, how is he going to do that? Diba? He's not going to watch him while he's detained 24 hours a day. He's not going to be alone. I assume that they're going to put him in general population. Diba? So if he says house arrest, okay yan. That might be acceptable. Words are cheap eh. Kung patayin yan sa loob, what are they going to say? Oops, sorry, we tried our best. Talaga may mga kriminal That's not enough. In the meantime, I'm stuck with a dead client who believes himself and who I believe to be an innocent man.
Sir, so Bale, what safety guarantees are you looking at? I think you mentioned some of them already. One is if he's guaranteed bail, although of course that's from the court dapat Then the other one is house arrest na nabanggit niyo. Anything else aside from those two, house arrest and bail?
I can't think of anything else now kasi safety lang naman ang ina-address ko ina-address niya Yung case, I'm confident I'm confident that we can defend it. I can't go beyond that again because I'm afraid of contempt.
Yes, sir. Well, I asked that question kasi those two elements that we talked about just a while ago, these are all going to be decided on by the court, not by the executive.
That's right.
So as far as executive action is concerned, what could possibly be the hidden variable that could make your client come home?
I can ask for bail and the ombudsman may join me and say, okay, let's give this guy bail. So that makes it easier. Makes it easier for the court to decide. Doesn't automatically mean that the court will decide to grant bail, but it makes it easier for them, I imagine, if the prosecution does not oppose.
But will that be enough? If that comes to light, will that be enough for Zaldy Co to come home?
Yeah, because it'll be easier to protect him if he's in control of his environment. If he's detained, he has absolutely no control over the environment.
But as it stands, is it possible, for how long is it possible for Zaldy to stay away from the Philippines while this whole case unravels? I mean, he does have attorneys in you. How long can he stretch this out for as far as you can see, attorney?
I don't know, Shawn. I don't know the immigration laws of the state where he's at. I don't know his immigration status, so I couldn't answer you.
But to your knowledge, attorney, does Congressman or ex-Congressman Zaldy Co hold any other citizenship, or did he apply for any other citizenship during the past few months?
Or asylum?
I have no knowledge, Pauline. Sorry.
Okay. Sir, balikan ko lang yung mga pictures na in-upload ni Zaldy Co in his first video. I'm sure you've also seen this merong naka-stamp na dates dun sa pictures. And some of those dates, well, they do not seem to correspond to the time of the bycam of the 2025 budget. In fact, some of them go way, way back. Meron pang January 8, 2024.
2024.
And May 1, 2024 and October 2, 2024. Tapos sa 2025, there's May 29, 2025 when he is no longer Appropriations Committee Chairman po. So that did raise quite a lot of questions from some people who were observing those dates.
Yeah. Ang read ko kasi is that yung narrative dun sa videos hindi chronological That's why it tends to throw people off. When he was talking about the 100 billion insertion in the 2025 budget, they naturally correlated that with the photos that he sent na meron 2024. But obviously he wasn't referring to the deliveries ng cash. He wasn't correlating that to the 100 billion in 2025. It's not physically possible, di ba? So yung mga deliveries ng before the 2024 and before the 25 budget was implemented obviously pertain to other transactions, not to the 100 billion.
To the previous, perhaps the previous budget of, for example, 2024.
Yeah.
Pero sir, but I also my understanding was that for the 2025 budget, Malacanang was supposedly asking. Zaldy Co was supposedly asking magkano bang SOP for the president.
Asking the DPWH,
for the president, anong SOP to which he was given the number of 25%. So if that was only for the 2025 budget, then how were why were there already deliveries for 2024?
Previous.
Yes, sir. In other words, kung hindi pa niya alam ang porsentuhan doon sa 2025 budget, ay bakit po meron ng deliveries for 2024?
I assume na for 2024 projects. So yung sa DPWH ng 2025 na 100 billion, unusual kasi. That's again, we'll let it unravel later on. But I can tell you now na medyo na-alarma siya dun sa medyo unusual yung 100 billion na insertion na yun ng 2025. Kaya siya nagtanong. So, the subtext is hindi masyadong unusual. Hindi unusual yung mga previous years kasi hindi siya na-alarma.
Okay. Sir, maraming salamat for joining us tonight. Tony Rui Rondain, thank you for your time.
Happy to be back. Thank you. See you guys tonight.
Moving on now, Malacanang is standing by its earlier claim that former Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin resigned out of delicadeza over the flood control scandal. Yesterday, Bersamin insisted that he was forced to go and did not resign. Castro did acknowledge Bersamin's clarification and had this to say on the reason for his departure from the Marcos cabinet.
Ang pina-announce po sa atin ay galing sa palasyo at kung ano po naramdaman ni E.S. Bersamin, yun din po na ginagalang po natin. Hindi ko po masasabi kung sino po nagpatanggal sa kanya. Binanggit ko po kanina na hindi ko po alam kung sinong kausap niya. Nagkausap naman po sila ng Pangulo face-to-face at let us just leave it at that.
Meanwhile, amid speculations of a looming cabinet shakeup, the president himself made light of these rumors. In an event at the palace today, he teased First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos about her growing involvement in government activities, suggesting that she might soon be part of that reshuffle.
She has become our ambassador now for migrant workers. It's your new designation. Di ba magka-cabinet shake-up tayo sa kasama ka na nun sa...
We're just going to take a quick break, but coming up, are there moves to impeach President Bongbong Marcos at the House of Representatives? We speak to Congressman Toby Tiangco about that and an alleged House coup when the big story returns. Keep it here on One News.
Welcome back to the big story. The Ombudsman says it is investigating Pampanga 3rd District Congressman Aurelio Dong Gonzales, this time over alleged conflict of interest. Ombudsman Boying Remulla says the probe covers Gonzales' construction firm and its government contracts, extending beyond flood control projects to other possible prohibited or conflicting interests. Recall that an earlier research by the PCIJ, the Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism, linked the lawmaker's family to A.D. Gonzales Jr. Construction and Trading Company Incorporated.
People didn't believe that there will be any accountability whatsoever and they were violating the law. Harap-harapan. Kasi nga walang nanguhuli eh. Bawal yan eh. It's a prohibited activity. It's a conflict of interest thing that is found in so many laws on corruption. Kaya mahirap na makatakas dyan.
Ano po kina-investigahan sa kanya?
Yung kanyang construction company at mga projects. Siyempre, yun naman yun eh, di ba? It's not just about flood control, it's about other illegal interests, unlawful interests.
Gonzales, for his part, maintains that he has no knowledge of any formal investigation describing the issue as recycled. He says, and we quote, "While I welcome any inquiry on the matter, I am not aware of any ongoing Ombudsman formal investigation against me on prohibited interests. I recall that the case against me involving the same projects filed before the same Ombudsman was dismissed sometime in 2023 for lack of merit. It appears to be a rehearsed and recycled subject, if any." The probe forms part of the Ombudsman's wider crackdown on so-called contractors or congressmen who are also contractors. Remulla says about 10 lawmakers are under investigation, which he called low-hanging fruit.
Nasa ano pa lang tayo? Nasa 10 pa lang siguro tayo. Kasi isa-isa yan eh. Kailangan hihimayin mo eh. Dahil maraming magaling magpatakbo eh. At marami namang hindi na nagtago, talagang ginawa na lang. Yung ginawa na lang muna, yun ang unahin natin. Kasi tinatawag na low-hanging fruit. O talaga maraming sasabit dito, maraming sabit dito.
And the Makabayan Bloc will be filing a resolution to investigate President Bongbong Marcos' hand in budget insertions and infrastructure kickbacks. That is, as alleged by former Congressman Zaldy Co. The Makabayan Bloc question why ongoing investigations on anomalous flood control projects still do not cover Marcos, given the gravity of Co's accusations. The palace has since called Co's statements hearsay. a dismissal that Makabayan said is still premature.
At kung tatahimik ang Pangulo at ang Malacanang, masasabi natin may nangyayari ng cover-up. No? Ngayong umabot na sa pinakatabi na mismo ng Pangulo at diretso na sa Pangulo ang mga aligasyon at testimonya na naririnig natin. No? Lalong kailangang ituloy ang investigasyon sa halip na tumahimik at pagtakpan ito.
Hindi sapat na sabihin na ginagamit lang ang pangalan ng Pangulo eh. Kasi napakahirap pong paniwalaan na walang alam, na imposible na walang alam, no? Mismo yung Pangulo sa kung meron mang involvement, no, yung executive secretary mismo at yung DBM secretary. Dahil kung sa unprogrammed funds pa lang yan, wala namang malalabas, no, wala namang releases sa unprogrammed funds without the authority of the President.
Question is, do accusations against the President at this point constitute an impeachable offense? Representatives of Akbayan and ACT Teachers party lists had this to say.
Wala pang compelling reason kasi tingin natin ang impeachment complaint should be founded on facts and evidence.
Darating tayo dyan. No, so, ang importante ngayon ay nandyan ang mga seryosong aligasyon. For the first time, direktang tinutumbok ang Pangulo. No, so, as I said, premature na absuelto na ang Pangulo. Parang gano'n na ang nangyayari. No, na hindi, ginamit lang ang pangalan niya. So, imbestigahan ito. Seryoso to, imbestigahan.
We discuss all these developments coming out of the House with the Wotas Congressman Toby Chanco. Sir, magandang gabi and thank you again for joining us tonight.
Yes, Ed, Shawn, Pauline, good evening.
Good evening.
Sir, of course, February, free-for-all na ulit yung impeachment complaint, possible impeachment complaint versus Sara Duterte. But some people this earlier saying na baka mamaya mauna pa ang isang impeachment complaint versus the President himself because of the flood control scandal and the links being made by some people, including Zaldy Co, against the President. What are you hearing from among your colleagues? What is the temper now of the House?
The temper is, wala. Yun na nga, talagang ang sinasabi dun talaga is, though ayaw nila to speak about it openly, karamihan naman doon sa mga secret discussions, ang sinasabi talaga is, ang nasa sentro nito is si Congressman Zaldy Co. No? But there's good reason bakit hindi makapagsalita yung marami. No? Number one, baka yung iba sa kanila, natuloy at nakabili ng proyekto kay Zaldy Co. So, natural na hindi sila magsasalita. Number two, yes, baka may hawak rin si Congressman Zaldy Co. sa kanila, di ba? Kaya walang makapagsalita. No? But alam naman ng mga kasamahan ko sa House na ang tanging talagang nasa sentro nito is si Congressman Zaldy Co. And of course, pag sinabing si Congressman Zaldy Co, hindi na matatanggi na talagang alam to ni former Speaker Martin Romualdez. No? Based on the allegations of Congressman Zaldy Co. Sabi ko nga, yung allegations ni Congressman Zaldy Co, meron dong totoo, meron namang dong hindi totoo. No? Like for example, yung sinabi niya, sa kanya mismo nanggaling, sabi niya totoo yung sinasabi ni Sergeant Gutesa na nagdala ng pera sa bahay ni former Speaker Martin Romualdez sa McKinley Road at sa South Forbes. Okay? So yun, hanggang doon, totoo yun. No, yung sinasabi naman ng Malacanang, in Gutesa's statement, he said, Aguado Malacanang. Aguado Malacanang, doon sa hindi nakakaalam, ayan yung bahay ni Martin Romualdez sa harap na harap mismo ng Group 4. No? Kaya yata tinawag na Aguado yun. Aguado Street yata yung isang kalsada doon. No? So yun, up to that point, nagkakatugma, di ba? Pero hindi naman siguro totoo yung sinasabi ni Congressman Zaldy Co na ginawa niya at walang natira sa kanya. No? I think, unang-una, it contradicts what Sergeant Cotesa says. Sabi ni Sergeant Cotesa, nagdi-deliver muna sila sa bahay, sa Horizon Residence. Diba? Tapos magbababa sila ng konti doon. Then later, yung iba, yun ang dadalhin sa bahay ni Congressman Martin Romualdez. No? So, yun. Tsaka hindi logical na, I mean, lahat naman na sinasabi, we have to think if it makes sense or not, kung natutuon sa tamang lohika o hindi, di ba? Hindi naman logical na ikaw ay inutusan, for example, ni Congressman Martin Romualdez na gawin yan at hindi ka papartihan, di ba? Parang, ano yun, inaya kang mang-hold up ng bangko tapos sasabihin sa'yo, wala kang party dito, bait ka naman papayag, di ba? Ito, ang hinold up nyo, yung gobyerno eh. Bakit naman ganun kalakas ang loob nyo at bakit ka naman makikiparticipate sa isang bagay na alam mong mali kung hindi ka naman papartihan, no? So yung statements ni Zaldy Co may totoo doon, meron ding hindi totoo doon.
Wala man lang ambon, kumbaga, na
kahit content. Pero actually, may isa kong nakalimutan itanong sa'yo kasi we ran out of time the last time, Kong Toby. Yung brown leather bag na sinasabi ni Zaldy Co. I meant to ask you if meron bang brown leather bag si BBM?
Hindi, okay, ganito lang. No? Yung mga sorties namin nung kampanya, siyempre sabay kabing I ride in the same plane with him, I ride the same helicopter with him, or I ride the same car with him. Wala naman ako nakitang yung sinasabing brown leather bag, no? So, yun lang ang masasabi ko. Wala akong nakitang brown leather bag in all those sorties.
What about the list that was posted by former Congressman Zaldy Co? Were you able to parse through or peruse that list? I know it's unofficial, pero does it make sense to you?
Hindi, unang-una kaya ako hindi kitinignan kasi nabalitaan ko sa news, tinignan na ni Senator Ping Lacson at ni Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, no? Ang titinik ng mga yun, no? If there is something there, sa tingin ko, makikita nila. I mean, I know these two senators personally at alam ko kung gaano ka-stricto yung mga yan at gaano magbusisi yung dalawang yan, no? So, nung nabasa ko na tinitignan na ni Senator Sherwin Gatchalian at tinitignan na ni Senator Ping Lacson, hindi ko na tinignan. I think may mga statements naman sila tungkol doon sa bagay na yun. So, hindi ko na tinignan, honestly.
Okay.
But Kong Toby, what about what Senator Ping Lacson and Yusek Roberto Bernardo claimed na it wasn't the president who ordered these insertions, but rather Yusek Adrian Bersamin and Yusek Trigiv Olayvar. At ang sabi, ginamit lang daw ang pangalan ni PBBM to push for these projects. Is that likely what happened, Kong?
Hindi, ganito, no? Yung tignan na, let's isa-isahin natin, no? Yung sinabi na hindi si Presidente ang nag-utos nito, yun, I think napatunayan na hindi totoo yung sinasabi ni Congressman Zaldy Co, no? Ngayon, kung sinasabi ni Yusek Bernardo na si Yusek tsaka Yusek Adrian, hindi ko alam kung ano yung basis niya na sabihin yun eh. Was he in that meeting supposedly? I don't know. I cannot comment on something na hindi ko alam yung buong circumstance eh, no? So, pero ang maliwanag dito is hindi totoo yung sinasabi ni Congressman Zaldy Co, no, former Congressman Zaldy Co. No?
Pero sir, at the same time, doesn't it stretch the imagination that these people are in Malacanang or very close to Malacanang? Of course, we're talking about Eden Bersamin and si Amina Pangandaman, and then of course you have Olayvar who's with DepEd.
I don't think Yusek Bernardo mentioned Sec Mina, did he? Hindi ko sure eh. Did he mention?
I have to review that, sir. Pero at the very least, yung dalawa, the two USECs.
Parang hindi. Hindi, alam mo, ang hindi ko maintindihan, si USEC Trigiv is in
DepEd,
di ba?
Yes, sir.
USEC Adrian is
PLLO po.
The Legislative Liaison Office.
Okay. Lately lang siya naging PLLO, Lately lang, hindi, nung ginagawa yung 2025 budget, he was not PLLO at the time. Remember, PLLO at that time of the 2025 budget was Secretary Dong Mendoza, di ba? So Dong Mendoza resigned lang nung nagkaroon ng courtesy resignation, no? So he was not PLLO at that time. So parang hindi ko lang maintindihan kung papaanong sila ang sasabihin ngayon na sila yung nag-request ng mga projects na yun, no? Hindi ko makita kung papaanong mangyayari nun eh. Hindi naman sila PWH. So paano nila malalaman yung proyekto? Alam mo, okay, ganito let's make it very clear. Pag nag-request ka ng proyekto, may title yan, may estimate yan, di ba? Eh kung hindi naman sila DPWH, papaano nila i-request yun?
Ano po, naalala ko na, Kong Toby, si Adrian Bersamin used to work under the Office of the ES, not as PLLO, pero under na talaga siya doon sa opisina ni
Actually, sir, we understand that
ES.
si Adrian Bersamin has worked with the former Justice Bersamin from way back Supreme Court. Wherever he goes, he also brings Adrian Bersamin. So when he went to Malacanang, when Bersamin went to Malacanang, he brought Adrian Bersamin as well. Tapos
that's what I'm saying. At ang trabaho ni USEC Adrian Bersamin doon sa Malacanang is staff work eh. It's to make sure that the papers are, alam mo yun, yung mga communications, yung mga requests, yun ang trabaho ni USEC Adrian Bersamin eh.
Yes, sir. Pero sir,
parang executive assistant, parang ganon, di ba?
Yes, sir. But the fact is that he is a Bersamin and he's very close to the executive secretary. That does complicate things a lot. People name drop. Even if you're not in the position to make things happen, your name and your title, your name and your association might mean a lot to, for example, people in Congress or people in the legislature, or people in DPWH. So
kaya nga, okay, ganito lang I think our basis is the statement of Senator Ping Lacson that yan ang sabi ni Bernardo.
Yes,
diba?
sir.
Pero hindi maliwanag yung circumstances eh. I think before I could comment on this, I have to know the complete circumstance around the claim of USEC Bernardo. 'Di ba? Para mas makita ko yung context at makita ko yung logical na pwede bang nangyari or it doesn't make logic. 'Di ba kasi if you're not personally there or you don't have personal knowledge, yung iisipin mo muna is it logical or not, 'di ba? So I would want to circumstances behind it.
I don't think it was made. I don't think these claims were made under oath or in a hearing. So that
yes,
that
diba?
I understand.
So ang hirap naman eh. At ang iksi lang nung sinabi doon eh. Parang ito yung sabi ni USEC Bernardo. Okay?
Kabig na lang tayo to House Matters. Dami rin pong bali-balita. Kong Toby, Pawi, do you wanna go ahead?
Oo nga, Kong. So, lots of whispers na magkakaroon daw ng coup sa House of Representatives. What are you hearing, Congressman? Does Speaker Boji D still enjoy the support of the majority?
Yes. Actually, nakakatawa kasi yung news galing sa labas. Nabasa ko lang sa social media yon na supposedly may ganun. Pero pag nag-usap ka naman sa House members, wala naman. Even kung hindi nga namin nakita yun doon sa news, hindi man lang namin pag-uusapan yun doon sa House.
Okay, maraming salamat for joining us tonight. Navotas Congressman Toby Tiangco, always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
In other news, the Justice Department confirms more skeletal remains have been recovered from Taal Lake this November as the search for the missing Sabongeros continues. DOJ spokesman Polo Martinez says 6 pieces of bones were recovered on November 17 alongside clothing items such as black pants with a belt, white underwear, and a piece of cut wheat flour cloth. 25 pieces of human remains were found on November 6 and another 26 on November 18. Since the search began in July in Taal Lake, the Coast Guard has retrieved several sacks from the lake bed containing human bones, or at least some of them containing human bones. At least 30 sabongeros linked to alleged e-sabong game fixing were reported missing between 2021 and 2022, though officials believe that the number could be higher.
And now over at the upper chamber, Senator Raffy Tulfo has challenged the National Irrigation Administration Chief Eduardo Guillen to resign. That's if the Bulo Small Reservoir in Bulacan is proven defective. During the Senate plenary on NIA's or NIA's proposed 2026 budget, Tulfo presented inspection videos from 2023 and 2025, saying there were no real improvements despite funding. He then challenged Guillen directly and pushed for a joint inspection to settle the issue.
So, I give you a challenge. Pupunta tayo, staff ka staff mo. Pag napatunayan na patsi-patsi lang ginawa, someone has to resign. Are you willing to resign? Challenge taken. Good.
The Bulo Reservoir's building began in 2014 and was completed in 2022, but it sustained damage after Typhoon Karding in 2023. And Tulfo said subsequent repairs appeared superficial, citing peeling cement and water seeping through the structure during his team's field check. The senator stressed that irrigation systems must withstand strong typhoons, noting that many NIA projects fail whenever storms hit. The project's contractor, RA Pahati Construction, is also listed on the Sumbong sa Pangulo website for alleged anomalous flood control projects.
And business tycoon Ramon Ang has denied reports that he is entering politics, stressing his intention to remain in the private sector. The San Miguel Corporation big boss says he is focused on business operations and will only back government programs when and where needed. Ang's statement comes on the back of reports that influential businessmen are supporting an alleged plan to install a so-called caretaker president by way of a military-assisted power shift. Davao City representatives said that if these rumors are true, they amount to unconstitutional interference. He also blasted any attempt by oligarchs to influence the country's political decision.
Right, and now we end on a light note, as always. For our big picture tonight, it's Miss Universe Philippines 2025 Atisa Manalo, wowing the crowd in her national costume at the Miss Universe preliminaries in Thailand. Atisa Manalo drew loud cheers, bringing the Filipino fiesta spirit to the global stage. Her costume, called Festahada, Queen of Philippine Festivals, is by Mac Tumang, the designer behind Miss Universe 2018 Catriona Gray's iconic lava gown. Manalo wore a piña silk Maria Clara top with a pañuelo and bell sleeves paired with a full skirt inspired by Quezon's Pahiyas Festival. The look is also a nod to the Giant Lantern Festival of Pampanga and Baguio's Flower Fest or Panagbenga. After her performance, Manalo posted on Facebook of what her gown symbolized, which are beauty, grace, and cultural pride. Beautiful!
What an impressive piece of work.
Right?
It looks so heavy.
In the recent years, mas pabongga na rin kasi yung costumes, right? In Miss Universe for the national
it's for the national
competition.
costume. I know, it blew me more away. Does that even make sense? Than the long gown.
Away.
It blew me away more compared to the long gown. Is
The
that
long
what you call
gown,
it? Yeah, the long gown. Box like, happy birthday.
Oh, by the way, happy birthday.
Goodbye na tayo.
All right, and that's it for the big story tonight. Thank you so much for watching.
We are back here tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. and we'll see you then.
Kapatid, we are One News, all sides, all the time.